We're going to talk Chelsea now because they've got a huge match coming up on Sunday. Bad news for them today. The FA have decided that Branislav Ivanovic will indeed serve a 3-match ban for that surreptitious punch on Sean Maloney last Saturday. But they still do have what I think will be two good teams to play in the FA Cup semi-final against Spurs on Sunday and against Barcelona in midweek next week, the first leg, of course, of their semi-final. The chaps are in the studio with me to pick over two teams that I think they can put out over the next couple of games. Here's my first one. We're going to have it up on the screen, and I think Petr Cech will, of course, play in goal in both matches. But on the left side of defence, Ryan Bertrand, the youngster, Paulo Ferreira, OK, he's going to be up against Bale, but I still think he'll be able to handle himself. Did well in the game against Benfica. Then it'll be Luis and Cahill, Mikel in midfield, Ramirez and Morelos going forward. I think they're both disciplined enough to one to go forward, one to hold if need be. And they've got width and goals in that front three. And I think that could well be the side they play on Sunday against Spurs at Wembley. And then against Barcelona. This is a side I think that they will put out all of the senior pros in there. Cohen and Ivanovic either side of Luis and Terry. Ivanovic, of course, can play in Europe. Essien hasn't been the player he used to be before his injury, but he's still good enough to play in that midfield three. A lot of people say they may well get overrun by Barcelona in the midfield. It'd be interesting to see what the chaps think. Mutt has been the player of the season for me for Chelsea. Khalil on the right has been doing okay in the last couple of games. And Drogba, a very physical presence up front, which I think Chelsea may well need. A lot of people feel that Torres, with his scoring record against Barcelona, is a better option. But for me, I would go for Drogba. It's a game of opinions, as I say. Perry?
I'm going to throw a curveball at you for the Tottenham game. Not necessarily Barcelona one, but for the Tottenham lineup. I'd put David Luiz as a holding midfield player against Spurs because I don't think he's a centre half. I just think he doesn't think like a centre half, and I think as he progresses, he'll be a brilliant holding midfield player because then you can release him. He can just protect the two centre halves, Terry and Cahill. Then he can go and play. So that was just I'd throw that in, but I do think it'd be. I'll play Basinga as a right back because pace wise. Obviously, he's going to be up against Gareth Bale, and Gareth Bale and Aaron Lennon swap. So he's not I don't think Ferrer or Basinga were the best defensively, either of them. So I just went for pace. Then Malouda left side, Sturridge on the right side again because I think his work ethic he will help you protect Basinga with Gareth Bale. And I would play Torres against Spurs because I want to keep Didier Drogba wrapped up in cotton wool and his Winnebago. Torres going to be stunt man, ready to come on lively against Barcelona.
Before we go to your Barcelona side, what's your how do you see that side?
Well, I think the Barcelona. You've got the Barcelona. Sorry, it's the Tottenham side. I think Luiz is a centre half. I think I think you play him in midfield, he'll still disappear. He wouldn't hold in there.
It wouldn't hurt you as much. Though. If you're midfield player,
it wouldn't hurt you as much.
I know, but I think he will develop. He's a young player, and I think he will develop.
The problem, however, with playing Luiz in midfield in that game is that you have to play Terry with his busted rib in 2 games in 3 days. Can you do that, particularly with the second of those games being against Barcelona?
Do you know what? Chelsea have been playing these games. I know they've been getting some results. They haven't played very well in the last 4 games. He's been changing the team around. They haven't played very well at all. And so I think they need some continuity. And I didn't moan about playing 6 o'clock on a Sunday, but players have played 2 games in 3 days before, believe me. And a lot of players like to play regularly.
Yeah, but 2 games in 3 days is one thing. So 2 games in 3 games with a busted rib.
I think you don't need to make that many changes.
Trust me, I know John Terry, his pain threshold is quite high because he's played with a broken toe before, isn't he, with injections. That's nothing like playing with. I don't know if Leroy's had busted ribs. I've had busted ribs, and you only need someone to just poke you, and you feel like someone's hit you in the side with a spear. Honestly, it is. It's really painful. The reason that if he can get through both games is, I think that Di Matteo will want to win the FA Cup for himself as well, not just for Chelsea, for his CV. Because his CV, his stock has gone up. He's not going to be Chelsea manager because he hasn't got enough kudos. They want a big manager coming in. So. For a club, Chelsea, it's more important they come fourth because they have to be in Europe next year to get the better players, to get the manager. But I actually think he'll put a strong side against Spurs because he'll want to win it for himself.
Well, let's see what he'll do against Barcelona. This is your side to face them. You've got Luiz in central defence for this game.
Yeah. The reason being is, I think we all agree there's one way you can beat Barcelona, and that is you bypass the midfield. and you go long and you hit Didier Drogba, and then you have to be brave enough then to press. And I think I'm not just talking about when people say play long and they say play long, I'm not just talking about smash it in the corners and try and get them to. Sometimes you might have to, because against Barcelona, if you're going to concede possession, you're better off conceding it as far away from your goal as possible and squeezing in, so they have to play through you. If you play through midfield against Barcelona, that's exactly what they want, because they close you down. So, but I think David Lewis is very, very good with the ball. So I think if you want to play long balls, he's brilliant at getting out his feet and pinging diagonal Drogba, get Lampard around him, Mata and Sturridge, and see if you're brave enough to press them in.
I think they'll revert back to what they did against Napoli. You know, I agree with that team. Apart from Sturridge, I think that Ramirez will play in one of the wide areas, and I think they'll bring Mikel in because Sturridge is a liability defensively at times, and I think at times he gives the ball away as well. And those are the two things you certainly don't want against Barcelona. So I think Ramirez will push into a wide area, and most probably Mikel will come into the sitting position next to Essien.
Now, we've been asking you for your Chelsea teams as well, and you've been inundating us on Twitter. Mido Hussein says he'd play a 4-2-3-1 formation against Barca. He calls it a Benitez formation. He says Cech Ivanovic, Terry, Cahill, Cole, Ramirez, Luis, Mata, Lampard, Kalou and Torres. We've got loads of you who've put yours in. Asa Clark, CFC, says Cech, Paolo, Luis, JT, Bertrand, Ramirez, Mikel, Lampard, Sturridge and Torres. That's against Spurs on Sunday, by the way. We've got Greg who's been in touch with us. This is his team against Tottenham, and he's playing Bertrand and Ferreira either side of Terry and Cahill. He's got Lampard in this game and not the game on Wednesday against Barcelona. He's going to play alongside Mikel, and then he's got a... Oh, we've gone to Barcelona far too quickly. We'll get back to the Spurs one because he's got Lampard and Mikel in midfield, just ahead of, just behind Mata, Sturridge and Kalou and Torres. I'm not quite sure why he's playing Mata and Torres in that game, because Mata, you would have to say, plays against Barcelona.
But the thing is that I like where he's played Mata, because I always think you should play your best and most creative players where they're going to get the ball more. And sometimes when he plays left side, he just gets a little bit sort of frustrated and isolated. Playing him centrally, where he could be the dictator of play and the playmaker, that's not a bad shout for Greg to be.
Let's see where he plays against Barcelona. Plays on the left.
Greg, what are you doing? See, the thing is, and Greg will say managers drive you mad. Exactly. So the thing is, now Matt is not going to go and close people down. And he's going to play To be fair, I think against Barcelona, Lampard has to play.
Okay, but 2 games in 3 days?
Yeah, I don't see why. I know. I don't see why not, to be honest. They're playing on Sunday night. They finish at 10. They got the recovery day Monday. They'll be in do a light training session Tuesday. Play Wednesday night, and it's at home. If they were travelling, it might be a little bit different, because it does affect people's bodies differently when you're travelling. But I think at home, Frank's in the same routine. He might only play an hour. 70 minutes against Spurs.
Okay. Well, the chaps are a bit baffled with Greg playing Mata just behind Torres on Sunday against Spurs, in theory, and then on the left against Barcelona. So, Greg, here on Skype, explain yourself.
Well, the reason I played Mata behind Torres in the Tottenham game is because I think he can dictate play from there, and I think he's done that in the games he's been in under Di Matteo. He's been trying to do that. Against Barcelona, I've only moved him left because I think we need to shore up the midfield with Morelos, Mikel and Lampard. And I think if we're playing a direct game to Drogba, Mata's going to get bypassed in that hole behind him. So, like he did against Benfica, he didn't get much of the ball. And when we went away to Benfica, everyone had a really good game except for Mata, because we kept on playing it long to Drogba and he wasn't involved. Why I've put him left is because I think Dani Alves is going to push forwards on the right. And I think there's going to be a pocket there on the left-hand side where he's got a bit of space. And I think he could do a bit of damage there.
Stay ahead of the game with Sports Tonight Live. Don't miss a thing. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search for Sports Tonight Live on Facebook and like our fan page. Follow Sports Tonight TV on Twitter and tweet us your thoughts and opinions. Sports Tonight Live, it's the platform for the fans.